Hi, fourth graders. Today we're going to be adding two fractions with uncommon denominators. So what does that mean? That means that I may have 3/5 and 5/10. Okay? Uncommon denominators literally means that our denominators are not the same. So how are we going to be able to add fractions without the denominators the same? We have to make them the same. And how are we going to do that? It's through multiplication. There are also other ways to visually represent this. You can do so with the area model, with tape diagram, also with a number line. However, due to lack of time, we are going to just learn the standard algorithm, so that means we're just going to be using multiplication. But if you're wanting to learn or see the visual models, you can go on embark.online and select the video for lesson 20 or 21 and watch those videos and see how they do it using any of those visual representations. All right, let's get started. Get your paper, pencil, and whatever materials you're using to take notes, and let's go. All right, the first fractions that we are going to add is going to be 1/2 plus 1/8. So, very important rule of adding fractions. We have to have common and like denominators. So that means our denominators have to be the same in order for us to add them. If they are not, we have to make them the same. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to think, I have a 1/2 here and I have an 8. Okay, can I decompose, which means take apart, or to make my unit smaller so that it is the same as the other unit? So what does that mean? It means, can I make my halves into eighths, or can I make my eighths into halves? Okay, and think about this. Remember, the smaller the number, the bigger the piece. The bigger the number, the smaller the piece. So basically what I'm saying is, can 2 become an 8, or can an 8 become a 2, right, using multiplication? Well, the answer is yes. I can multiply 2 times 4 to get 8, okay? I can multiply 2 times 4 to get 8. So that means I can multiply 1/2 times, the parentheses means times, 4/4, because whatever I do on top, I have to do on bottom. So if I'm multiplying my 2 times 4 because I need to get an 8, I also have to multiply the top, the numerator, by 4. So let's figure this out. 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. So now I have an equivalent fraction of 1/2, but now it has a denominator of 8 that I need. So now I can add 4/8 plus 1/8 equals what? 5/8. Right? So all we did was multiply it by a number to get this denominator. Okay, so 2 times what is 8? 2 times 4 is 8. So now I have to multiply my denominator and my numerator by 4 to get an equivalent fraction, one that is the same as 1/4, but that has a denominator that is the same unit as 1/8. Okay, let's try that with another one. All right, our next one we're going to try is 2/3 plus 3/12. Okay, so are my denominators the same? No, they are not. They are uncommon. They're not the same. So what I can do here is I can think, can 3 become a 12 by multiplying? Or can 12 become a 3? Well, that would be dividing. If I went 12 to become a 3, that would be division. So we don't want to divide, we want to multiply. So yes, the answer is yes. 12 is a factor of 3, so that means 3 can go into 12. So how many times? 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 times. So again, I'm going to multiply my fraction, 2/3, by 4. So let's write that down here below. So 2/3 times 4/4, because I'm multiplying the whole thing, and that will give me my equivalent fraction with the denominator I need. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 4 is 12. So now I can add the 3/12 to that. Okay, so 8 plus 3 is 11, and now my denominator stays the same. So here's my answer, 11/12. So 2/3 plus 3/12 equals 11/12. We were only able to do that by creating a common denominator. So we had to make this denominator also 12 by using multiplication. All right, let's try another one. 3/4 plus 5/8. Okay, so looking at our denominators, are they the same so we can add? No, they're not the same. So now our next step would be to change the denominators using multiplication. Okay, so can 8 become a 4? Yes, but that's division, so I don't want to use division. Can my 4 become an 8? Or fourths cannot become eighths? Yes, it can, by multiplying it by 2. So we can rewrite this. 3/4 times 2/2 is going to equal what? 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so now I have my equivalent fraction. 3/4 and 6/8 are the same. Now I can add plus 5/8, and 6 plus 5 is 11 over 8, so 11/8. I can also change this into a mixed number if I want to. This is the answer, but we can also, for a challenge, change it into a mixed number so we represent the whole. So what lives inside of this? There's 8/8, which would be a whole, and then 3 extra. So we can say 1 and 3/8. So either of these answers you could use. 11/8, and that equals 1 and 3/8. Okay, so again, we use multiplication to be able to create like denominators so that we can add and find the total. Alright guys, that is your Module 5 Lesson 20 and 21. They're the same lesson, it just has us do it twice, so I combined it in one. If you are wanting some extra practice or a visual representation of how to find common denominators using a number line or area model or tape diagram, go ahead and go on embark.online and watch the video for Lesson 20 before doing your practice problems. Otherwise, you may use multiplication to solve those problems that are attached in your assignment.